Coach, can you start by just talking about your team's performance this past weekend and the positives you saw against two tough ACC schools?
Yeah, it was a lot of volleyball. It was 9 sets of really pretty solid play. Syracuse, I think what we saw, what we bring out of that as a team is we're to a point now where our skill level is pretty high, and we're able to compete on a skill level basis with pretty much everybody. It's a question of executing particular strategies at particular times in the game, and when we do it, we're a pretty good team. We're not consistent at doing it yet, and that's what showed up in Syracuse, and actually showed up again Sunday against Georgia Tech, that when we can remember in the moment what we're trying to do, then we're pretty good. It's just a question of being able to remember those and stay in the habits. In terms of skills, we're pretty good. In terms of heart and fight, I was really proud of the girls. Boy, they just worked right to the bitter end on all the sets in both matches. So they did a great job with that. I mean, and those are sort of the bedrock foundation that you've got to have. You can't build a house without having those underneath. Now we got to work on being able to execute particular things within the play.
With the first 2 ACC games now in the books, do you think your team has a good read on what they can expect from other ACC teams going forth, or is it still a learning process?
We'll know when we play the other ACC teams. I mean, just playing 2 doesn't really tell us a whole lot about everybody else. What we do know is that across the board, the ACC was good last year. We had, I think, 9 or 10 teams in the top 100 and 5 or 6 in the top 50, and it's better this year. That it's the overall quality of ACC volleyball is improving. I think we were the 3rd ranked conference in the NCAA last year, and we're a better conference this year.
Can you talk about Katty Workman yesterday? Had 23 kills, and as part of she broke the BC career kills record. Just given the ACC schedule that you guys play year in and year out, what kind of accomplishment is that, both individually for her and for the program as a whole?
Yeah, well, certainly it's a testament to Katty and her, both her skill level and her endurance. I mean, she's played you don't accumulate those kinds of stats without playing a lot of matches, and she has over the course of her career. You know, she's put in a lot of time on the court, and that's not easy to do physically. So you know, she really works hard to take care of her body, and so it's definitely a reflection of that, and a reflection of her team and her teammates and the efforts they go through. You know, the kill is the 3rd contact. It's the last contact in a series, so there's always a pass and a set that preceded it. I think probably the thing I've been most impressed with is that I've probably seen the biggest changes in Katty's game this year as a senior, that she has embraced certain skills, certain techniques, and certain strategies, things like that. That's a bit unusual to see in a senior. Quite often, by that time, they're figure like brains full, got what I got, this is it. But Katty continues. I've probably seen the most growth out of her in the course from January to now than I have in any of her previous years, and for me, that's the most impressive thing.
And final question, are there any changes or different approaches after having been on the road this past weekend? You're through the hotels and the airports and all that. Can you talk about, as you go forth?
We're going right back to the hotels and the airports next weekend, so I don't know that there's huge changes. Louisville and Notre Dame are both obviously quality opponents. We've been on the road for 4 straight weeks now. We're pretty used to it. You know, obviously it's nicer to play at home because you're in your home environment. But Georgia Tech and Syracuse were both tough places to play, and Notre Dame and Louisville will be no different. They both have big arenas, get a great crowd. They have a very supportive fan base. Both of those places were tough to play last year. We came out with a split against the 2 of them on the road. But both matches went 5. I expect nothing different. It's going to be great high-level ACC volleyball again in an exciting, just prototypical college sports atmosphere.